This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian. Mission to 15.
Johnny, we got any book corner?
I do a little bit of interview.
Nice.
Just checking any other thoughts or things about the film. I had some notes. I'm just making sure.
No. I'd watch it again. Tell you that much.
I still just like the idea of the alien in the elevator. Somebody else was trying to evacuate and the door opens. The alien's like, no, I'm good. I'll take the next one.
I kind of laughed when Hicks was like, him and Ripley went into the elevator and he hits the elevator button and they stand there. And he looks at her, and the door's taking forever to close, and he leans in and hits it again, and then the alien comes and bites him. I was like, "That's kind of funny." They're just like, "Fucking elevators take forever to close."
I looked at the thing, and I was like, "Why isn't it closing?" and then I had to hit it again, and I was like, "Normal elevator stuff." Yeah. Like we all have that thought, right? I get in all the time, and I'm like, "Please don't let anybody come in. Please don't let anybody come in. Shut the fucking door."
Just slyly pressing the close button. It's like, why does this button fucking work?
Why is this fucking thing close? I know.
Why do they put these in here? Funny. They never work.
I guess that's what John would call the campy parts, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I like the idea of alien in the elevator and all the fun things you could have with that. But so I have some stuff. Just James Cameron has won a series of interviews with the Interviews with Great Directors series. So I've got some quotes from that.
Nice.
But that's about it.
Do you guys know the career trajectory of James Cameron?
No.
Studied physics, dropped out of college, became a truck driver to support his screenwriting. Did some work on Piranha 2 for 2 weeks, got fired there, but he also did some screenwriting and like special effects type stuff for other movies. Like one of his breakthroughs is Battles Beyond the Stars. Have you ever seen that?
No.
If you look up that movie, the spaceship in that movie has breasts.
Sweet.
The main spaceship in the movie has boobs. And he
was that James?
Designed that. Yeah. But yeah, so that's all I know. That's the trajectory I know of so far.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I guess he was just like an on-set guy, like an extras guy, and he would learn from people on how to do special effects. He was real keen on stealing information from like how everyone did their job. His first movie was Terminator. First movie, and then he did Aliens, and then he did The Abyss. I don't know if you guys have seen that one.
How does your first movie become Terminator?
I know, right?
Is it because he was in the industry, so people knew who he was?
Too before then, right? He was doing things on movies. I mean, he was
in the industry. People knew him, and then they took a chance on him because, like, you're not going to do a blockbuster on your first run most of the time, right?
You're right. Piranha 2: The Spawning.
Right, but he also wrote Terminator for the starts too, though. So that also like gives him a leg up in terms of directing it. In the first place.
And he wrote Aliens,
his baby.
Too.
Yeah, he wrote Aliens too, which is partially explains why Ridley wasn't even invited to do it. But which again, I was trying to look up to see if the Ridley Scott book, if he mentions Aliens, and he only mentions it in one point where he just said he was just surprised. He was surprised to learn it was being filmed without him.
That's a bummer.
Yeah,
they wanted to save money.
That's Hollywood, baby.
Probably save money. Probably
you're only good to me as long as you're good to me, and then fuck you.
But Cameron wrote the script, right? So that's a start. But also, I think they thought, they saw the script as an action blockbuster like Terminator, and thought we're gonna probably make a whole lot of money with him directing this. I don't know. I know, but Alien itself made money, didn't it?
And you're not guaranteed. Right? You're not guaranteed another movie just because you did the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably understands that much. It's a bummer, but he moved right along, I'm sure.
Oh, it's not like he didn't have other stuff to do.
So yeah, moving along. Piranha 2, apparently that's a movie. 1981. Never heard of it. I thought he was talking about how Terminator was his first movie.
Because it was his first good movie.
I guess. He just wants everyone to forget about it?
Supposedly, he got fired. I don't know what the deal was, but he only directed it. He's director in name, but he actually didn't do all the directing.
There you go.
He got fired after 2 weeks or something.
Weird.
I don't know what the story
is. And as
a
punishment, they left his name on the credits. Nice.
I haven't looked it up, but yeah. So
he went the Terminator. Let's assume it starts there. Then Aliens. Then The Abyss. Then Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Then his best movie ever, True Lies, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Then he did Titanic and then Avatar, and that's it.
Yep.
Wow.
Well, then he's done a bunch. He's did some TV shows. He's done a bunch of
We're talking about
screenwriting.
His movie trajectory is Piranha 2 to the highest grossing movie of all time, still after 15 years.
Yep.
Wow.
And the guy's a nutcase too. He built with all of his money, he built a submarine. He's probably done other stuff, but he built a submarine to go to the lowest point in the ocean, and he went there first.
Oh, wow.
He didn't even have anyone else test it for him.
Wow.
Fucking
Nice.
crazy.
Nut.
Yeah.
Crazy.
All right. What else you got, John?
So from the interviews, he generally comes across as just very practical, which is nice. I mean, he talks about, like, in a number of the interviews, he talks about how people told him not to make Aliens because they're like, well, either you're going to screw it up and everybody's going to blame you, or it'll be good and everybody will just give Ridley Scott credit for it because of the foundation that you have. And he's like, I don't care. I really like this.
Yeah.
And I think we can make a really good action movie. and he also, again, he just comes across as very just practical. Again, he's like, I like is this idea, like, he likes to make action movies. He thinks that's what he's also good at that. And that's what he saw himself doing with Aliens. I don't think he doesn't come across as like he's trying to create some big dramatic emotional thing that has this huge weight behind it. I mean, it's there. It's not like he's saying his movies are meaningless or anything, but he doesn't seem pretentious the way he's talking about it. He's like, he likes movement, and that's in the interview here. So this is the interviews book that's edited by Brent Dunham, and this first interview where I've got some quotes from him is from Preview Magazine in August of '86. This was an interview with Victor Wells. He starts off by saying in this interview that the first quote from him is, "There's three kinds of pictures: high budget movies, low budget flicks, and no waste films. I'm a no waste filmmaker." So he likes to be efficient. Apparently, likes to not blow budgets up or anything like that in his films. At least that maybe have been what he had an early reputation for at this time.
That sounds like someone who started in the business and seen a lot of waste.
Yeah. And he did like talk about like began working with Roger Corman. That was on where who did various capacities there. He was the art director for Battle Beyond the Stars.
Oh wow! So he was high up in these films.
So he co-supervised special effects for John Carpenter's Escape from New York. Very and then he acted as a production designer and second unit director for Planet of Horrors, and then directed Piranha 2.
Oh wow! So he really was already a working person.
Right.
In the industry. Yeah.
He co-scripted Rambo: First Blood 2.
And I don't think I don't think anyone realizes how difficult it is even to get into that spot.
Yeah.
So that Rambo 2 thing, he was talking about how he got hired to write Alien and Terminator 2 at the same time.
Right. Oh yeah.
And then also he got contracted for Rambo, and he asked his agent, "What should I do? Which of these movies should I write him?" And he's like, "Do all of them."
Nice.
So he sat down.
Smart call though.
Kind of. Well, he had he
smart.
sat down, did the math. First thing he did was like, I have 3 months to write 3 scripts. How many hours?
Shit.
How many pages is a script? How many hours a day do I have to write this? How many pages do I need to write per hour to do this? And he figured out that number, and that's what he did.
Whoa.
Nice.
So he's efficient all the way around.
Yeah.
He's like methodically efficient on everything he does.
Can you imagine that pressure? It's like, all right, I need to write 6 pages an hour for 3 months.
Is that what it came down to?
He didn't say what it came down to, but we could probably figure that out. It's 200 pages for a script. I mean, I'll do the math, John. You can keep reading. I'll come up with the numbers.
200, is it? I mean, yeah.
That's what he said. He said it's about 200 pages
for each script.
But they do like the double spacing and stuff. It's not like a book.
Oh, no. I know.
Are you waiting for me to do the math?
We're waiting.
Like
I think we should just get through the math. I want to go. I want to know the answer.
All right, so we have 3 months. Let's say that's 4 weeks per month. That's 40 hours a week. So that's 480 hours for 3 months. Are we okay with that, or do we want more? There's more than 4 weeks per month, typically.
Yeah.
Let's add him.
Well, what about the weekends? He's working through. I bet he didn't stop.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right, so how many hours
they're
a
not
week
on
do
a
you
9
think?
to 5 like
you think
we
he's
are.
doing 50 on average?
I think he's doing at least 60.
60.
Yeah.
For let's say 4 weeks. 4 weeks a month. That's 720 hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 720 hours divided by...
We want pages per minute? We do.
Pages per day. If you want to do pages per day, it would be easier, I think, right?
Pages.
I mean, this is good data. I really want to know what this is now. It's a hell of a way to break it up so that you because I mean, really, creativity you'd think doesn't work like that. But like for this guy, it does. It's awesome.
Doesn't seem like that much. I'm getting a half a page an hour, 0.55. So if you
That's a lot.
Is that?
Yeah, because you have to think about what you're going to put on the fucking page and how it's going to work in
you're thinking 24 hours
visuals.
a day?
No, we're thinking...
No. Like
10 hour
60
days.
hours a week.
10 hour days?
60 hours a week, yeah.
I think he would approach it like he would if he was on set. So 10, 12-hour days.
That's a lot.
And he would do it every day because he's writing. And when you're writing, you don't really want to stop.
The interesting thing is because there's a lot of not a lot. There's similarities in Terminator to Aliens. Like you have the strong female character in Terminator. You have the little kid.
Half
you've
a
got
page an hour?
But yeah,
Is that what it came down to? Holy
Yeah.
shit. Dude, that's not easy. I don't care. Because really, obviously, it's going to be like all of a sudden he'll have 4 pages and then he'll get stuck. Right? I mean, it's
Right.
going to be the average isn't what he's working on. But Jesus Christ, that is pressure. I'm sorry. That's a lot of pressure. Fuck. I mean, I give him credit. He sounds like a real pro. He really does.
Oh, yeah. He's certainly a hard worker. So, and again, doesn't come across as an asshole either, at least in his talking, sort of.
He always, I would agree with that, except for the fact that he kept making fun of David Fincher.
Well, does he know Fincher?
Fincher did Alien 3, so he was pissed off at what. So, TC, we're not going to watch this. I'm going to spoil Alien 3 for you.
That's fine. I really don't want to watch it if it sucks.
Who wrote? Did he write Alien 3 or no? I mean, I assume
did.
that. Okay, well, I assume it's like it's it's a bit ironic since he took 2 away from Ridley.
Yeah, right. It's almost supposed to be the.
So I wonder if it was that kind of like it was his baby and he wanted to make it and he was just really upset with the
Fincher
direction
didn't write it.
Who wrote it?
Vincent Ward.
Oh, okay.
Weird.
But who knows?
So, wait.
So he just kept ragging on Fincher the whole time? Or
Now, are they friends in real life, though?
Maybe
No.
they are. Maybe.
No, they're not.
No, he was not saying it in a friendly way. The last thing in the commentary track was an insult to David Fincher. It was like he ended it saying, so he said something like, that's why this movie is, he was like talking about why he thinks it's good and how the characters are there and how the characters and the relationships and things like that. And then he's like, so spoilers for Alien 3. And then Fincher comes along and kills everyone.
Wow.
If somebody took something you created and are really proud of and ruined it, basically. Like,
so TC, at the beginning of Alien 3,
dead in the water.
They're all in the spaceship and it crash lands somewhere. I forget exactly what happens, but Newt dies in the first minute and so does Hicks. They're both dead, just like not characters anymore. And then Ridley survived the crash or something. And John, I forget that movie, but I think she has to like kill herself at the end of the movie or something like that. Is like,
I think she has to sacrifice herself. She has to sacrifice herself. Yes,
and they're in like a jail cell, and there's only one alien again. That's why it's called Alien 3. But they're all stuck in like a prison or something, and there's like lava in the prison. It's all red and dark the entire movie. And at the end, I think she has to lower herself into lava or something like that. That could be wrong, but that's what I remember.
Right. So you kind of see why maybe
that's
Jim
actually
Cameron's
Terminator 2, isn't it? Am I mixing those two together, or did that actually?
I think that might be Terminator.
No,
I can see Sigourney Weaver going on a chain down into lava. Why is that in my head?
That was Terminator. That wasn't Aliens, right?
No, I can see Schwarzenegger doing it too in a different lava-filled room. The rooms look different, TC. That's why I know it's a different thought in my head.
Oh, okay.
It looked better in Terminator 2.
But anyway, you can see why he's kind of mad about that. It sort of kills the franchise. And
whatever, he hopped on the franchise anyway. It wasn't his franchise to begin with. Come on,
that's true.
He didn't write it. The second, I don't know. But anyway, so otherwise he comes across as just more practical. Like I said, he thought that he was really thought that the focus for Aliens was Ripley. He just said that like this whole movie is about her every scene. It gets in her mind. It takes her back to face her own worst nightmare and to conquer it, so to speak. In a way, Aliens is about her revenge. So he felt that was kind of, she's clearly the centerpiece of the whole film. He said he actually had a hard time making it less funny, so it didn't play like a comedy. So he had constant wisecracking and stuff going through it, and he wanted audiences to really like the characters and sort of feel like you were sort of like bonding with them, so that you would be more horrified when they all get killed. But he actually said if anything, he tried to tone down some of the comedy at times. He was worried that it might be too funny. So this is what he said. Like when he was talking about like it was all downside for him to do Aliens. He was like told by people in Hollywood, "This is career suicide." Quote: "If your film's good, they'll attribute it to the first film. If your film is bad, it will always be negatively compared to the first film." So there's he continues saying, there's absolutely no logic to it, but I thought it would be cool, so I did it. He said, that's why you make a film, because you like it.
Did he describe the meetings with the producer?
No.
He was talking about how he was in after Terminator pitching 2 more ideas to the studio, and they didn't like either of them, so he left kind of disappointed. But as he was walking out, they called him back in. They're like, actually, we have this thing you might be interested in, Aliens. And he was like,
oh, really?
Yeah. He said that he was like, he wanted to jump and just scream yes instantly, but he like contained himself and was like,
the producers pitched it to him first to write it.
It sounded like they brought him in to listen to his ideas, but really what they wanted to do was offer him Aliens.
Nice.
That's what it sounded like.
Interesting.
Which makes sense. Terminator, Aliens, like that's a good transition.
Yeah. Oh, this is sort of the battle beyond the stars bit. If you want to hear about this is from another interview, Life in Pictures. or it's called James Cameron Life in Pictures. This is Francine Stock. Basically, where was this at? This is from the Alfred Dunhill BAFTA. It was like an event that they had, like the British Film Awards. And so he describes what happened in the Battle Beyond the Stars stuff. So he said that he worked as an art director there. And Cameron was saying, well, yeah, this was right after Star Wars and before The Empire Strikes Back, though. And this was Roger Corman. He was trying to get in there and do sci-fi because that was really hot. So and Cameron got a job as a model builder. He was working in the model ship, and Corman comes in and said, "You haven't designed the main character ships." And everybody stood there stunned. And then it was going to be like this quick bake-off to see who could come up with the design quickly enough. And everybody started drawing something. I figured it's a Roger Corman film. The main character ship is a female personality like hell. 9,000 only sexy, right? So I'm going to draw a spaceship with tits. And that was my play. And Roger came through the next day and said, "What is this?" And I said, "It's a spaceship with tits, Roger."
What do you mean?
And he said, "You got the job." And that's how it works.
Oh, that's funny.
And the rest is history.
I was able to find online that Cameron and Fincher are friends.
Oh, okay. That's good.
And funny enough, those two are the reason why Deadpool got made.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're friends with the person who created it and individually as well as whatever, the three of them. And they just happened to read the script, Cameron first, and then Cameron brought it to somebody at Fox, and then Fincher read it and then also went to the same people at Fox and was like, "You guys got to make this movie." And so that's the only reason why I got made. It's because they weren't even getting it. They submitted the script, I guess, right when the Avengers dropped, which was just okay, that sucks. Because Avengers made $200 million and you've got this superhero movie that's the anti-superhero. This isn't going to work, right? And so Cameron read it, loved it. Fincher read it, loved it. And then they were the ones that basically convinced, studio execs to make it.
How do these studio execs even have jobs? Jesus fucking Christ.
Because
everyone else has to force them to do stuff to make money.
Because they're normal corporate guys. Really, that's what it is. And don't forget, I think, to be fair to studio heads and stuff, they're making hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of material, content, titles, whatever you want to call them, every year. So they've got a shockingly large amount of things to go through and learn and figure out. And they have to deal with the slate. And it's just a bunch of fucking nonsense.
He's on corporate. He's on their side.
Yeah, I'm not corporate side. Well, no, I'm not even on their side. It's just you understand why they fucking... they're not the creative that gets to just sit there all the time and think, right? They have to actually do shit. So
do you see this picture? If I had only seen this picture without context, I would have not guessed that that's supposed to be a tit spaceship.
No.
Oh, really?
Never.
No.
Never.
It kind of looks more like a ball sack than anything. But it looks like
a spaceship with tits.
It kind of looks like one of those aliens from Star Wars, like one of the bug-eyed in the cantina in the first one.
It definitely doesn't. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't notice it if you hadn't mentioned it. Really.
Yeah.
So,
that's funny though.
Poor job,
what is that thing?
Jim.
It's a spaceship with tits. What's the matter with you people?
And again, he just mentions again in the same interview that people were advising him not to do aliens, but that again he really was happy to do it. When the interviewer was saying, "Well, you clearly took aliens in a different direction, technically, but just the film," and Jim said, "Well, yeah, clearly Alien was such an amazing film. I thought, all right, fine. What do? I do action." People know me from the Terminator. There's got to be a through line from that. So I want to do some really kinetic scenes. And the second you put kineticism into the backdrop of Ridley's design, now you've got a whole different film. And it's going to be much more of a roller coaster ride, much more of an action picture and less of a horror film. So again, he seems to really know, he knows what he's about. He knows how he's going to be different than Ridley in this film. And he's just seems to be pretty I don't know, just aware of what he's doing. He's not trying to say that he's going to do something better than Ridley's film. He's just going to do something that takes it in a direction.
And let's be fair, though. So is Fincher, right? I just read something that I like. Yeah. James Cameron's the king of action, and Fincher's the king of mood. And I mean, whatever you take from that, but they're definitely different directors, right? Regardless if that's true or not, people categorize them in those things. So I think it's the same for Ridley Scott, right? It's probably why Fincher doesn't hate Cameron and Cameron doesn't really hate Fincher.
I wonder if they became friends because Maybe
different
Fincher
directors.
heard the commentary track, felt bad, called James Cameron, and now they've been best friends forever.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I mean,
Who knows?
Totally possible. Or they've always been friends, and he's always told him it was shit because they're friends.
Yeah, it's like Jim is still just pissed. Look what you did to my franchise.
You fucked up my film, right?
Look
And they're
what
all,
I did.
They're all
How
at
to be
dinner.
a rich director. What
Yeah, they're all at
commentary?
dinner at that nice Italian restaurant in Beverly Hills, and everyone's having a good time.
Do you know how many girls we had to cast before we found Newt, and then you just go kill her?
Kill it. Yeah, right.
And just what a great character she
Jim,
was.
she didn't want to act anymore, all right? I was doing her a favor.
Yeah,
That's
right.
Give me a
And
break.
then
What are you
then
gonna
you
do
got
to do
Ridley
this
over
one?
there being like, "But guys, did you see Gladiator? Come on,
Guys,
I
did you
killed
lose
it.
my
I
number?
killed it.
Did you guys lose my phone number?
Did you guys lose my number?
I like
Look,
spaghetti
man,
too.
I can write that many pages in 3 months. I swear. Yeah.
Hey, that's all I got.
That's all I got. Nice.
Well, there'll be more from both the Scott book and the Cameron book. So, or what? Yeah, we've got Titanic coming.
No, we don't. We have Gladiator and we have Terminator
I love
2.
Gladiator.
Wait,
Gladiator's awesome.
Titanic's not in the top
No.
250.
Frost.
There are people
Sometimes
like
it
me
makes
that give it a
the
0,
stick.
John.
I cannot believe it.
Really? Do you like that movie?
No, I have never seen it. But
What? How did you miss the boat?
What did you? Oh, Titanic.
Yeah, I get it. Missed the boat.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm just like
skip that one.
Can
I
anyone hear
heard
me?
the joke, Denny. We heard the joke.
Is this the God?
We heard the joke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone missed the boat?
That's as good as I can do.
As
good as I can
Yeah.
do.
Hey, dad
Well
joke
done, sorry.
number 1.
Yeah.
There you go.
How are you? Yeah, right.
I'm sorry. I was still just in shock. It's not on the list. I'm just really, really surprised.
You haven't memorized the list at this point, John?
No. I try to forget it's kind of easy to forget the list given, how often we actually watch a movie on it these days.
It's been almost a year at this point. Fuck.
No. But anyway.
So the commentary track was definitely very good if you like commentary tracks. It wasn't like info heavy that's shareable, but there were a lot of good little stories between like cast members and stuff, and you get kind of an idea of how it was working on the film, which is fun. There were a lot of secret special effects in this movie, kind of like Evil Dead 2. How I kind of got some of that vibe. They talked about how a lot of it was due to budget constraints, and how James, being like the art director and working on these other movies, had learned tricks from all these other places. So they could only afford 4 of those stasis pods, whatever you want to call them, the sleeping pod things. And that scene where it was 12 of them was done with 2 sets of mirrors, one behind the 3 and one in front of the 3. I don't know how mirrors work that well to know how you can make it look like 12 down the line, but all they did was have 4 pods and 2 mirrors, and that's how they did that scene. And you can't tell. Even when he's like pointing it out, you can't tell. Looks pretty damn good. This is one of the first movies to use a Verispeed frame rate camera called the Magic Cam.
Mm-hmm.
Ever heard of that before?
I have.
It was the first camera that you could change the frame rate while filming automatically, and then also change the aperture while filming.
Cool.
So they said that, but my mind was saying, like, when you hand crank a camera, can't you just speed up the crank to change the frame rate? It's not like automated, I guess, but
Yeah.
I mean,
you
it's
won't-
kind of
you'll
the
see
same
No, but
that.
thing.
this
It'll
is
be
like
pretty jittery.
you change it and it stays.
Right.
Right? Like this,
Yeah.
like the crank, it's going to change the whole time you crank.
Right. Unless you're
Yeah.
really good, like go slow and then speed it
Oh,
up. And now
maybe.
we're
But
going
even
fast.
then,
Yeah, sorry.
dude,
Yeah.
it's not the same, right?
That's true.
This
Like
was
backing up your car.
digitally
a little more,
controlled.
a little more, a little slower. That's it. That's right. No. Go back.
Oh, this is good. This is that exoskeleton thing. Sigourney was basically standing. They described it as, when you're a little kid and your dad is way bigger than you and he's helping you walk and you stand on his feet and he holds your hands and you walk
Yeah.
on his feet. There was a 270-pound bodybuilder behind Sigourney Weaver in every single one of those shots where she's in that exoskeleton
Oh,
thing.
really? That moving that thing,
Moving
with
the
her?
thing. Yeah. There was
she's like,
she's
oh, wow.
she's basically standing on top of him. He's behind her and they have to walk at the same time. He's controlling all of like the actual robotics, the arms.
right, but it's almost like he's responding to her because she'll like lift
It
her
was-
foot and then he can tell her.
Well,
can he
it
not
was
even?
all, I assume it was all directed. I don't think it was like
Okay.
they were winging it because it seemed
Okay.
kind of tricky, but there were actual mechanical arms that he was controlling behind it. So that needed to be choreographed between like
Damn.
her movement and his movement of actually moving the thing. And then the walking was the thing. And they had practiced this on a foam fake model beforehand to see if it was possible. Once they built it, it was way, way too heavy. So they actually also had to suspend the entire exterior to a crane. So like
Ooh.
they were walking, but it was kind of like the majority of the weight was
Like
being held up by a
marionette
crane.
kind of. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. That's pretty nuts. Just thinking there's a guy struggling to breathe behind Sigourney for days at a time.
Oh, you got good money,
Lunch,
I guess.
lunch,
You know?
it's lunch, guys. It's can't fucking bring it back here.
It's a good day rate, you know?
Oh,
It's fine.
I called this out. This is how many behind the scenes stuff I've watched. TC, you didn't pick up on the Steadicam gun?
I did not.
It's a Steadicam gun.
I've never been a camera guy, though.
But you've seen a Steadicam, I assume?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that's just a Steadicam with a gun attached to it instead of a camera.
That's
was what
pretty
they
cool.
had, like the hip mounted things.
That's cool. That makes
Steadicam.
sense. Yeah, you wouldn't know. I mean, you'd never know. They're all black, and they look like.
I thought it was before
machines.
like getting super into movie trivia. I had no idea, but now I'm like, that's probably a Steadicam.
And then
Why would
worked.
they reinvent
nice.
it? That's exactly what a Steadicam
Yeah, it's
is.
easy.
right.
Right,
That's
exactly.
really cool.
Yeah, that's
That's
cool.
what those like kung fu guns were. Or the
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
Like
were
half
just,
of them
just
had
made the
it,
gun.
sort of, and they were
That's cool.
practicing
Yeah, yeah.
like lifting it
Yeah.
up and doing like
yeah.
Because it was all Steadicam, and they were like, it's all
That's
moving.
really
That's
cool.
pretty
Yeah.
sick. I mean, it's a good idea,
Yeah.
right?
great
He's
idea.
he's
Because
an
nobody
efficient-
outside of the industry
He's efficient.
is going to look at it and be like,
Right,
that's
right.
just a Steadicam. Nobody
No.
fucking
Right,
knows.
right.
No, totally not. I agree. You'd
Um,
never know.
The
I
set
didn't notice.
collapsed on James Cameron during one part and cut his head open, and he was just bleeding down the face.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
They should have
Yep.
filmed that. Got it like, look badass.
Another set collapsed when nobody was in it, and it would have injured everybody pretty badly. It was the interior of the car set just collapsed when everyone was like on break or off for the day or
Oh,
something.
God.
Oh, wow.
And they just like, if you look at the ceiling, they're like, we just put too much shit up there, and like it couldn't support the weight. So like all that heavy shit just collapsed one day. No injuries.
Wow.
Could have been bad though.
Yeah.
A lot of the sound effects were done on one synth in a bedroom.
Really?
Yep.
I guess you don't need to
Surprising.
record a synth
Kinda,
anywhere,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Some of the weapons and stuff, the alien screams were sort of like video game
Monkeys. They
repetitive.
sound like monkeys. It was
Yeah,
like it was
I
like
don't
a screaming monkey or something.
But it was the same scream each time, so it just seemed like it was like yeah.
for the small ones. They said for the Queen, that was synth.
Okay.
Or at least part of it was. I don't know. I was trying to pay attention to like what could be synth. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known. No way.
This is a cool special effect. There's a shot when Bill Paxton's character, I think, spots one of the holes that the alien creates from above and then below. Like it's just a
Right.
hole that goes down.
Mm.
Right.
And it has him lean over and spit into the hole.
Yeah.
And you see down, but
Oh,
they
yeah.
couldn't film. They didn't have a set that went down that deep. So for
Oh.
that shot, they built a miniature of that and they pointed it down the miniature. So that's like a
Oh,
16
wow.
scale miniature just for the depth shot.
Oh, no
And
shit.
they also tried spit.
I didn't notice that at all.
No, it looks good. And
Yeah.
for the spit, the spit doesn't look good on camera. So it was milk and water mixed together.
Oh. Because it doesn't look
That's
like
fucking
anything.
crazy.
It doesn't look like anything.
No,
Yeah.
it looks like he's spitting down a hole that was the same size as anything else,
Yeah.
but it's a 16 scale miniature with milk and water being thrown down a hole.
Sweet.
And it works perfectly.
It worked. Didn't notice
Yeah.
whatsoever. God, you got to love some of these movies tricks that they
I
come
love
up
the
with.
tricks they do. Like, how do you
Yeah.
come up with that? It's like, spit's not looking good, boss. What do we do? Who's got milk?
Yeah.
Milk's looks a little too milky. How about a little water in there? Oh, it's perfect. It's looking
Send
perfect,
it.
guys.
Send it. Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's awesome.
A lot of the they did a trick in a lot of the shots where, and this was copied from the first Alien. They noticed how Ridley did a lot of things where he would move the camera behind things, so like half the shot was obscured by the foreground to make it look like maybe you were like POV of the alien to make things look a little more creepy, stuff like that, a little more claustrophobic and all that. Jim wanted to do the same kind of thing, but he wanted to save money. And he also learned a trick where if you build a miniature of a foreground set piece, it makes the set look much, much bigger. So if you have like a quarter scale foreground with like a table and just things that would be in a foreground, if you do it quarter scale, it makes everything look way bigger than it actually is. So there's a lot of that going on in this movie too.
Wow. I mean, just the idea of like knowing what the scale is and how it works together is like, it's too much math. for
Yeah.
me, You know,
It's got to be
I
pretty
can,
easy though,
I can
right?
tell
It's
you
just
where the
like
levels
trig.
are at, minus 12, minus 10.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. That's about all I got.
Or you could just like build it and then just slide it in and out until it looks good. And you're like, all right, that looks good. We're done.
I
no
mean,
math needed.
maybe. Yeah. I've never been the camera guy type,
Yeah.
so I don't know any of those tricks. I can tell you how to fake audio, but
This is also one of the first movies where they didn't need to wait for dailies to look at it.
Oh, really?
They had a thing called a video tap,
Mhm.
which was new then. And I think it was just like a viewfinder where you could rewatch the footage on set at the time.
even film. What
Even
were they
film.
using digital?
This is film.
Really?
So this was like a brand new device. It was like out this year, this movie, when they were filming it. So that was huge. So they could see like what looked good and then continue filming if it didn't look good, as opposed to like, all right, we're done. We need to wait for the dailies. We kind of need to move on, sort of thing.
I'm surprised because that's not even something they would still use now. I don't think. I mean, I've never heard of that.
I think the distance between this movie and digital was like less than a decade. So, so whatever that video tap thing probably lasted for like 8 years, and they're like, it's just digital now. We don't need to worry about this anymore.
Right? We don't do this anymore. Yeah, I know. That's interesting. Yeah, film sucks. You can't even do dailies now. It takes 2 days to process the film before you can get dailies.
But it looks so good, doesn't it?
I mean, I don't know. It depends. It's a fine line between looking cool and like being able to do shit with all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The car driving scene was miniatures. They used a lot of rear projection and front projection. Rear projection is apparently way cheaper than front projection because the material you project on is much cheaper.
Translucent.
It's translucent. Yeah. It's cheaper. The front projection is a 3M, a special 3M like theater projection material type of thing. But you have to set up those shots differently too. I'm not sure how, but
because the projector needs to take space from where you're shooting in.
Right.
Rear you shoot, and then you'd have all the stuff in front of the
Apparently
screen.
Shadows are an issue with rear projection and not an issue with front projection.
Really?
Yeah, that's what they said. I don't know how that works.
That doesn't seem right. No, you would figure with the projector shooting in front and stuff in the body that there would be shadows that way, not like if you're shooting. I guess it depends on how they're shooting it.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's very interesting.
A lot of the shots of them like walking through areas when there's no people on it were 12 scale sets. Just a lot of like miniatures just inserted into the movie throughout, which is pretty hard to tell. So that was good on them.
It is, yeah.
One scene, there's like, it seemed like a pretty obvious matte painting when the family's coming up to the ship. That sort of stuck out as not so good. Like initially when the family's coming, the initial family, when they discover the alien ship again and early on in the movie. And there's some rolling up in the scene. It really does look like it's a painting in the back as far as that goes. But still, it's kind of amazing how well most of this holds up. Yeah. Like, it's quite impressive.
The thing is, it's so all over the place that some of the shots I was like, that's terrible. That looks really bad. Yeah. Like the shots where they would just have the ship kind of against a painting and it would be floating like in a weird way. I'm like, that looks like they have it on a string. It looks terrible. Yeah. Then there are these other things they're pointing out that are special effects and you can't even tell. So you're like, oh shit, all right, some of this is really good and melds perfectly into the movie. For the weapons firing, they just flash strobe lights on actors when they click the trigger. So it would like line up with that special effect there. That's a pretty cheap way to do guns firing, apparently. He adds individual white frames into action scenes and in between cuts it gives you like a perceived, he called it a staccato edit. And it gives like a sense of urgency to
makes
the
it
cut.
more abrupt seeming, almost like it's a hard cut.
Or it's just like it keeps your attention more or something like that. Like it's not a smooth cut. It's like, duh, keep watching. Shit's happening.
Yeah. Totally. Duh, keep watching. Yeah,
come on.
That's how they sold it too. No, it's going to be this thing. Keep watching. Bam. Yeah, and everyone's like, awesome. Send it.
Right. The Queen was a 14-foot marionette. It was a real marionette using what they said, every type of puppet technology they had at the time. They listed off all the different technologies. I didn't have time to write it all down. But it was like all hydraulics. It was like actual puppeting. It was people inside. It was like robotics. It was everything in that one 14-foot marionette.
Whoa.
So when you see it on screen, it's a real single puppet, which is awesome because it looks really cool. And I was like, they couldn't have built that. It looks huge. But they did.
But they did.
He said the single largest puppet ever built. Stan Winston was the second unit director. He's a pretty famous special effects guy. All the smoke they were showing was bad to breathe in. It's now illegal to use on set, but they were using it then. They knew it was bad, but it wasn't illegal. So they all toughed it out.
They're all dead. Yeah.
Jim Cameron showed his love for CG on the commentary track. He looked at a couple shots and he was just like, it's too bad. In CG, it could have been beautiful. You're like, come on. Come on, Jim.
He loves CG, huh?
He loves, it
Jimbo.
shows, loves the Avatar stuff.
Right. Jimbo.
So, TC, this is a question for you. Compared to Alien, remember the nuke at the end of Alien? That was just like the painting over and over again? How did this one compare? You remember the shot?
Not really.
So, you should, at the very least, go back. This is the funniest thing. It looks pretty good. It has like, it's a nuke in a bunch of clouds, it looks like, and the ship's flying up. All the shot is the non-ship. It's a big light bulb and cotton balls.
No.
That's it. And you can tell when you like look at it, but like the camera's moving. Yeah, the camera's moving. There's like a ship in the foreground.
How'd they pull that off?
With the sound effects of the nuke going off and the ship flying. Like, it's pretty funny how it's just literally a 5th grade movie project, a light bulb and cotton balls, and it's like the money shot of the movie.
Wow. I would not have expected that at all. I mean, I can't even really picture how it would work. Like, I don't know how, like, what, I'm having trouble at the moment trying to, like, picture that.
Definitely look it up. It's pretty funny because you can definitely tell it's cotton in a light bulb, but if without knowing
like, quickly, I didn't notice it. I mean, no way. Yeah. Wow. That's kind of cool.
It is. Last piece of trivia, 65-day shoot, $18 million budget. That's it.
Damn.
65 days is a pretty long time.
Not even that expensive, though, as I was expecting, to be honest. But he's efficient. He doesn't blow up the dam. He doesn't blow up the thing, like he said.
That's all I got, guys. And I was kind of excited to do an Aliens run, but I came off this one so like happy. I was like, that movie's so good. I don't want to like sour it, right?
No, I don't want to ruin it at all.
Yeah. And TC, I don't think you should watch any of the other Alien movies.
I won't. Don't worry.
There's Alien 3, Alien Resurrection. Those were like in the 90s. And then Ridley Scott came back to do Prometheus. And then he also did Alien Covenant, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. None of those are worth watching.
Okay.
I don't think so, John. What are your thoughts? I can't
imagine they would be.
I didn't mind. Prometheus was interesting, sort of, but confusing. And then Covenant was less confusing, but
less interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah,
some people like all of them. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be some diehard Alien fans. They were probably Art Bell listeners. I'm telling you.
They still made another Alien after Aliens 3 or Alien 3. So the fans they're there.
Fans are they're there. And let's be honest, it has IP and good like product based on it. So like people know
good action figures, right? Xenomorph action figure.
Yeah. They'll keep coming back if you keep making them. And then they got Aliens Predators. That's got to be terrible.
Oh, it's great. And then there's video games.
Alien. So like, who wins? Predator?
I think Alien wins, doesn't it?
Oh, does it?
I forget.
The Predator's invisible, isn't it?
Yeah, but there's only one Predator, and there's like a swarm of aliens.
Can I go to bed now? I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed.
Guys, top 250 aliens.
Yes.
Yes. That's going to be hard to edit, John. You're going to be crying at the end of this episode. Okay.
I know. I'm sorry.
He's so
I'm such
tired.
a whiny baby. I'm so sorry. I was trying to stay awake even before the podcast started. So
I know.
I'm in the same boat. Yeah.
I was going to go to the gym after this.
It's
I'm
like
not
10
doing the
o'clock
gym
my
after
time.
this.
I got to work. So.
Do you?
What? No way. Crazy. I'm sorry.
It happens.
Yeah.
It
All
happens.
right, what are we doing next week?
So top 250 first.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yes.
Sorry if I missed that.
Sorry. Well, no, I interrupted by whining.
Okay.
Yeah.
So next week, guys, we're hopping off the list again. There's a movie that's now available that wasn't available before. We've been talking about it for months.
What? Licorice Pizza?
Licorice Pizza.
Oh,
Yeah. Paul Thomas Anderson. We're not
shit.
doing the synopsis, but it's rentable. I think it's like $6 or $7, but I think we can do that. It's only on Apple TV right now to rent it.
Okay.
Right.
That sounds good?
Yeah,
Sounds great.
Definitely
Sweet.
good. I wonder, and then worst person in the world soon. I think it. Oh, we
Still
can
not
mention that.
available.
No, yes, it is.
Oh, is
on
it?
Apple TV?
I checked. I guess I checked last week. That was a whole week ago.
Yeah.
Things change, huh?
Yeah, it's out. It's out. We can rent it on Amazon.
Is
anywhere
it
now.
cheaper? So we'll do
like,
this one and then hop back. Should we go back and forth to the list now?
We'll see.
Or should we just keep doing the bonus ones? Let's see what we have next on the list. What is next on the list? John's just mad we're still doing stuff.
I'm fucking with
I
these
know,
audio
right?
things already.
I'm
Sunset
I've already
Boulevard.
moved on to trying to fix this stupid soft synth.
So maybe we do all the modern ones first.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll figure it
sounds
out.
All
Anyways,
right, licorice pizza.
Licorice Pizza.
Licorice Pizza.
Talk to you guys next week.
All right.
See ya.
Guys.